Hello, everyone. It is Kenyon. It is Basketball Rewind, and guess what? It is that time of year where we are finding topics. So, without further ado, I will give a quick update, and then we will get into today's topic, which is the America people. At the time of filming this, okay, at the time of filming this, we are in the quarterfinals. Okay, stay tuned, stay locked in. They are late games, but they are free, and we might actually win this tournament. So that's all. Outside of that, we're going to talk about the Raptors today. Are you all ready? Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned, stay locked in. Let's get into it. Today we're going to be talking about RJ. Coach, you lead the way.
Well, the Jake Fisher announcement that came out, I think it was last week, when basically RJ's reps have been told that they open for business when it comes to trades. The Raptors brass basically is trying to trade him. We have been down this situation before with Pascal Siakam, the exact same thing. When it was about a year and a half left on his deal, they were talking. Eventually, nothing got done. Siakam came into the season. We've seen better Siakam. He was fine that year, but we know he can give more because he gave more when he went to Indiana. And this has been just a constant narrative with RJ ever since we brought him in. I remember talking to you both when the trade happened because I was on a flight. I get in. OG Anunoby's been traded, and the headline is quickly. And I'm not, I can understand why. And RJ was the throw-in because he was the toxic contract. And RJ, since that trade, coming back from the Knicks, has been the better player of the two. I can make a pretty solid argument for that. Quickly, mind you, for some of that has been hurt. In the open gym session, Masai Ujiri, he's on the phone saying, yeah, we can't wait to pair you with Scotty Barnes. He was talking about IQ. Never once brought up RJ Barrett. RJ comes in for his Raptor time that year. He has the best half of his year, of his career. It's like a new change of scenery. He gets away from Tibbs. He gets the ball a little bit more. Looks pretty good. Then we go into the next season, which was the season that just passed. And he gets hurt to start the year. And then he's asked to come in and play more point guard because of so many injuries. So he's playing a lot of on-ball offense. He's running the offense. He's doing a lot of screen and roll with Pirtle. Some of the best basketball of the year, which we talked about at the time, was RJ and Grady. Those two look pretty good together. This is when IQ and Scotty were hurt. But again, he took his offensive game to another level. Now, I get the defense is not very good. Everybody knows that. And that's something that he certainly needs to work on along with his free throw shooting. Then we come to when again? The All-Star break this year. Everything is up for promoting Scotty for All-Star game. Scotty's been hurt for half of the year. RJ's been playing almost every game. And the whole team does not promote him. Nobody in the front office promotes him. Who does? The Blue Jays.
The team you're wearing.
This team. That's why I'm wearing this shirt tonight, because this team will promote my guy RJ.
Does that technically mean that Ed Rogers promoted RJ?
Yeah.
Yes.
They had more faith in him, yeah.
They had more faith
strange, but yes.
than our own front office. Now, why I get a little irritated by this is, one, some of it's a bit of a bias, because I saw RJ when he was 14 years old play in U17 Canada Games basketball for Ontario. And you knew then he was going to be an NBA player. He said, this kid's 14 years old and he's this good. You knew he was going pro. But I just find it interesting on how he has been treated. Kid grew up here in Canada for the most part. He does seem to have a following of some of the fan base. There's some that want to trade him. Fine, that's part of, when you like a team, stuff like that. And I do get the aspect of, there probably could be a better fit. But the whole point of why I want to bring this up is for two reasons. One, I've seen this before with Pascal Siakam. It just seems like the front office wants to move off him, right? And the other aspect is it just seems like RJ is trying to be run out of town by some people. And the guy's been professional. He brings it every night. He wears his hard hat. And I don't think there's any playing 2K or Twitch or whatever. Maybe there is, but he doesn't show. He's broadcasted to everyone. Look at me, I'm doing dribbling skills through pylons and stuff like that. So I really don't like how he's been kind of treated by the Raptors organization. The fans are the fans at the end of the day. But I think it's too bad that it's kind of come to this point. So where do we go from here with him? Because here's my worry. He's going to go into the year the same way Siakam did, and you're not going to put maybe his emphasis into it, and people are going to wonder, well, why? Zeke told you about RJ. He's not going to play hard. 21, 6, and 3 he averaged this year. Free throw percentage was garbage. He needs to improve that. There's no reason he can't be a 75% free throw shooter. There's no reason he can't be a below average defender, because right now it's abysmal. Those are a couple things that he can work on. But I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on this whole situation with him. What do you guys think? Like, am I a little crazy to think that this guy hasn't really been treated that well by the Raptors front office, or am I wrong on that?
I'll let Beyond go first. I definitely have some thoughts, but yeah.
I'll say this, man. I don't really comment too much about RJ from the standpoint of like, I'm not an RJ lover, but I'm not RJ hater. I think he's a fine player. I think if you have him on the right team with enough support around him, I think he'd be a very productive player. I think he is a productive player for the most part for the Raptors. And I think this is the issue. I think overall the whole team, is he a bad defender? Yes. However, does he have a coach and a team that doesn't put players in the best position for them to even mitigate some of the weaknesses they have? Yes. Which therefore, so to your point, maybe he's a below average defender on any normal team. But on this team here, it exacerbates the situation because hey, they want to play everybody on island with no help, not realizing, what, we got some weak defenders. Maybe you might want to, Curry and move some help over to them somehow. Maybe you might actually want a shot blocker on this team, perhaps to help these guys out. But no, why do that crazy thing? Anyways, as far as RJ goes, I like his demeanor, his personality from the standpoint. He's, I always say, he's a briefcase type of guy, and I like that about him. He comes in, he put his briefcase on there, and he's coming in to do his work, do his job. And for the most part, whatever people want to say, wherever they want to say this and that, you got a lot of guys using a lot of like fancy talk in this case here, or stuff to hear on blogs or on websites or on videos. It's like, he doesn't move the needle. He's not a winning player. Blah 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 blah. And they throw out their their stats they want to throw out. I would say this though. I think I'm old school in this sense. I like guys I know what I'm gonna get from them. I know if I sit down there at 7:30 on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday night, I pretty much know if RJ's playing, I know what I'm going to get that night. He's going to be about 21 points. He's going to get the line probably about 6-7 times because he's the only guy on that team that actually can get the line consistently, by the way, for the most part. And you know what? In this case, he's going to set up some teammates in this case. And interestingly enough, of all the guys you mentioned just now, let's call it this case the core guys. I mean, as far as this team at the moment, Ingram not included, he's the only one in this case of those guys that actually plays well with the kids. You mentioned Grady just now. Yeah. He's the only one in this case here where it's like, okay, he's not out there worried about I gotta get my shot or I'm gonna ice out X, Y, or Z guy. I will just leave it at that. You could say, when it comes to the other two guys, you could tell me what you think about them, or whoever wants to talk about that in the comments, knock yourself out. But what I see there, RJ's more than willing to kind of share the ball with the young guys, like get them going. I will say this about the Raptors. The Raptors remind me of, everyone knows this person. Maybe you know them in high school, college, at work. And it could be man or woman. And they say they can't find somebody, X, Y, or Z, and they keep running this case for the bad boy, the bad girl, and they're sitting there going, like, dude, there's a nice decent fella or a nice decent woman here. Don't want that. Even though they're showing affection, say, you know what, they're respectable and they show affection. They're always on time, stuff like that. No, they don't want that. No, they want the one in this case and wants to, be like an a-hole, be a-hole, be aloof. They can fix them. They trust they can fix them in the relationship.
You show up at the spot to pick her up.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I still have to change.
Right, yeah.
When you had plans for a week before.
Right, but they swear they can make him or her a better person, right? And that's what the draw is, right? That's the Raptors.
Okay, Dr. Phil.
Raptors are notorious from this era. That's what the Raptors are about. The more you kind of essentially, pardon my French, piss on the Raptors, the more they like you. It's like an abusive situation. So be it if it's OG who's giving you all the signals, I don't really want to be with you. Oh, but please, OG, please come back. Or if it's Fred, like, yo, I'm looking to get paid, bet on myself, Fred. Oh, but I'll give you the briefcase. Look at all the wonderful money here, and you hit that LA. Please come back, Fred. You keep going on the list of all of them in this case here.
Yeah.
Even our man there, number 4, who at times is showing some things where he's showing some aloofness. But hey, man, that's the future.
Well, I'll say this: he hasn't said anything negative about Raptors.
No, but in this case here, it's the demeanor in this case of how they actually portray themselves at times. And in this case, that part is also part of it, right? Where it's like it's a 2-part part of it. It's like, yo, man, you're representing this team. Like, what the hell? What's going on? No, not like that. You get rewarded. Guys in this case actually want to be with the organization and actually put their best foot forward. Well, come on now. Come on. Yeah, man.
I'm definitely going to go in a different direction than you, slightly. But in terms of, like, I guess the overall, so are the two of you advocating that we don't trade RJ? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, here's what I'll advocate for. I like RJ as a player, but I know in this case here, like, I know, for this team to move forward, he's going to have to go. It just is what it is. It's no fault of his own fault, but they put themselves in that position, which they wanted to. They wanted to pay someone 175, 185 million. No one told them to. They wanted to go and re-sign, a center in this case that that might barely be a starting center in most places. They wanted to.
Sorry, who's making who's making 170?
What was it? Is it quickly making like 175 or something like that?
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Yeah, they didn't have to pay him all that money.
Right.
Yeah, they had to pay
restricted rights.
Yeah, they put themselves in a position with Pirtle. No one did.
Right.
Yeah, my thing with RJ right now, because of these constant trade rumors, you're going into a season, learn your lesson from Siakam. Extend him or trade him at some point.
Yeah, so then if that's the only two options, then you move him.
I know what's probably going to be, but I just don't. You don't want to have this dragging into a season. If you're a player and that's hanging over your head all the time.
May I ask you a question before Kenyon starts? I just want to know, and maybe this is where Kenyon's going. But I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell me if I'm stealing your thunder when I ask you.
Okay.
And you can just roll with it. Is it me or like post championship, this franchise gotten very loud?
That's part of it. I wasn't going in that direction, but that is definitely part of it. We used to be very, as I put it on the timeline the other day. I said, "Real G's move in silence," right?
Right.
Shout out to Lil Wayne, and we don't do that anymore. No. It's like we got to telegraph what we're doing, right. And to me, there's two things. Number one, like I've seen teams that are like, "No, we let this guy out. We're even gonna give him a contract." Blake Griffin. It's the perfect one, sorry.
Hey, man.
It's like, hey, man, like, let's get the photo up, kiss the baby, all
right,
that
you're with the great African American.
Okay, all right. Come into this room, sir. Right? And all of a sudden, it's like, right? And it's like, and then there's only an exit on the other side, right? Like, if you're going to be gangster about it, be gangster about it. Just do it, right? Like, but to be like, oh, well, actually, yeah, like, no, there's a for sale sign every single time. And it's like, hey, it's like, is there something wrong with the house? It's like, yeah, well, someone may have gotten murdered here, but, that's all right. You just clean up the blood a little bit. like at some point, so to your point, yeah, we're loud, and that's not a good thing. Don't know if that's going to change. So far, it hasn't changed. But so far, it has not changed.
Here's another example. It just happened last month. Did anyone have in their bingo card that Norman Powell was going to get traded?
No.
No.
Right.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, just all the blue on random days. Like,
those are real OGs, though. Real OGs. That's
Right.
Jerry West is still part of that, right?
No, he's dead.
He passed away, man.
My bad. The remnants is still in the air there. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah, but the Miami Heat got better because of that trade. They didn't give up anybody for Norm Powell. Now you have a backcourt of Hero and Powell. Sorry,
right. But they just moved on.
Hold on, wait. When did Jerry West die?
Like a couple of years ago, I think.
Last year.
Holy smokes! Okay, I've been too far into it. It's what happens when you're in Raptors land. You don't pay attention to anything
man,
else.
You gotta come out and smell the air a little bit, man. See what's going on, man.
Yeah, next thing they're gonna say Bill Russell. It's like, but I know he's gone too.
Flex is gone, man.
Oh yeah, you guys are right. June almost.
I know we're right.
June 2024. No, but I mean it's almost exactly a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Broken news.
Need a new logo now.
Yeah, this is why we call it Basketball Rewind. We go back to the past. Okay, so fair enough. To get us back on track, yeah, I mean, so my thoughts is this, right? Number one, just trade him. Number two, I think to both of your points, just get it over and done with. If this is what you're going to do, then do it. Now, if he's too hard to trade, make the smaller moves. I think there's too many times when we get caught up with like, oh man, we got to trade X player for 5 years, and then it's like an Ochai move or equivalent is missed out on. I've said this to multiple people multiple times. I point at one guy for the past like 2-3 years who's always been in rumors as well, but we never ended up moving him. Okay? Actually, I can give you 2 examples. First one's going to be Boucher. Okay? The second one is going to be GTJ. And it's like at some point, it's like he's always like flapping in the wind, and it's like, forget about what it does to the players and stuff like that. I mean, this is part of the business. It's tough. But yeah, in terms of your trade value, if you want to just be raw cold with it and just be like, oh, the value of the asset, that's not good for the asset.
No. Not what Jake Fisher just announced.
What, that they're going to go buy? If everything goes up and works out well? Because that's what I heard.
Well, I'll just say this. I guess, going back to our last episode in this case here, man, you can't work the Shaggy philosophy on this one.
Oh, no. Listen, I do want to talk about that for a bit. There is a world where... So I've done a little bit more thinking about this. And I hear what you're saying, and I'm not giving him... I think the thing that I give personally, I should say, the most credit to or discredit to for Bobby was the handling of the cap, because that has been the job that he's been assigned for all of these years. You gave out these contracts, you gave out the player options and stuff like that. That has been not too much flexibility, has not worked in our favor. But the buck stopped with the other guy, and we can't forget that. So I'm not saying that it's given me a good taste in the mouth, but what I will say is this. And I asked someone this. And I'm going to ask you guys. If you were a GM, and you were a top-tier GM who could be getting a job, would you rather the Raptors, in their current state, with everyone locked up on contracts and stuff like that, or would you rather be part of an expansion franchise?
I'd rather... Go ahead. I'd rather be the Raptors.
Okay.
And the reason why is I have, I use modern day terminology, I have assets that I can move. If I'm looking to tear it down and start all over, a franchise, expansion franchise, I'm going to get some guys, every expansion franchise that I want no part of. And I'm obviously going to get a top 10 or top 8. But
you can't pick in this spot, you're not going to be picking your guys right away anyways. And let's keep it a buck. We know this fan base. Okay? Coach is in this segment partly an example of it, where it's like, okay, we don't want to trade RJ for Anthony Simons and a second rounder. Now I think it's a little bit low I'd want a little bit more than just, a lowly second rounder for that and Ochai. That was a ridiculous thing. I totally agree with you, Coach. But we got to take some L's. We got to take some L's.
I would say this, man. If you're going to be any whatever basketball operations person, be it GM or president, and you're worried about some knucklehead on his keyboard, then you don't do a good job. All right,
because you got that right.
Because when it's all said and done, to use the term in this case, I can't remember who actually gave the original term. We've traded better people than some of the folks that we're talking about in this franchise.
That's true. We traded Vince Carter.
We traded freaking Vince Carter
at his peak.
We traded
better than anyone else on.
Yeah, we traded David Starr, was our reigning rookie of the year. In this case, we said, in about a year's time, we said, it's been fun.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, I don't know about you guys, but I was in this city here. There is nobody on this current roster that they built the promotion of the team around as they did with Stoudemire. Not even close. Yeah. So we traded those dudes, and we didn't think twice about it. We traded just now, and this guy helped us win a championship. Might be one of the 5 best Raptors ever. And we didn't think twice about it. So this idea that like, oh, geez, man, I don't know, man. We can't trade X or Y, with all due respect to RJ and anyone else.
I was more thinking I'm talking about like the guys below you.
The guys below me?
Like if you're getting hired in this job, it's like, well, Bobby's here. Dan Tolzman's here. I can't change
the only reason why I don't take the job is if, in this case, Pelly's telling me I got to keep these jokers. All right? If you tell me I got to keep these jokers, then yeah, I don't want the job. No one wants that job.
Yeah.
I don't care what role you're in. If you're a coach and you're saying...
Because what if they're just saying you got to keep these guys until the contract's over?
I would sit there and go like, no, because you know why? Because what ends up happening is you're giving me caveats. And it's like, oh, this is how the relationship is going to work now?
So that's why I'm saying, what if that's part of it? Because, we're not giving that credit for, part of this, because clearly, I mean, even Josh Lewenberg outlined in his most recent, I'll call it a tirade or whatever. He basically outlined that for Bobby, they didn't have the confidence in Bobby to really truly sit in the big boy chair. That's why they didn't really give him
So then why are you giving the bloody job in the first place? This is what I'm talking about, man. So this idea, I hear people talk about, it's not a great job. No, there's nothing wrong with the job. If you decide, there's only 30 of them, as I told you the other day.
Yeah, I'm trying to give all sides of the equation.
I hear you. I'm pushing back with this for folks when they listen to this, and I want them to be careful. I want to be careful why I say this. So everyone hears what I'm saying. Nothing's wrong with the job, but when you start putting qualifiers on the job, then the job doesn't look that great. I don't care
basically what you're saying is that they themselves, as an organization, they sabotage the process. I agree with that. And I don't think that they realized that they were sabotaging the process, but I think that they did. I mean, if you go back, there's several things. Number one, keeping Masai on because he asked to be a part of the draft. That's a good example where it's like, right. what are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
And then you have all this now of all these rumors of Masai wanted Malawach and Bobby wanted CMB. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it's something. I don't know. But now we have to listen to that, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's confusion in the air.
Yeah, no one can own the pick.
I guess the question is that because they, as in including Keith Pelly, made part of this mess. Is Bobby the best guy available, I guess, to clean up the mess because no one else wants to deal with the mess that they themselves, including Pelly, has created?
I've seen worse mess get cleaned up. I don't think this is.
I agree. Right. But right now with expansion looming. I don't have mess to clean up with expansion is my point.
Yeah, but you're hoping on expansion right now when you have, in this case, the commissioners looking out there, in this case, the Europe. When's this expansion supposed to come? Never mind the fact you have a bunch of greedy owners in this case. Ain't really ready to shut out.
So but let's still play with the counterfactual, right? So let's say an expansion happens next year.
Okay. And in this case,
and you have insight. You're Bob Myers, so you have insight that expansion is going to happen.
But I see that's where I think we disagree on this whole philosophy because I'm not necessarily thinking we have to get a Bob Myers.
No. But I'm using that as I agree. Pick a name, but I'm talking about a top guy, not bottom of the barrel or scraping the thing. I'm talking about someone halfway decent. That's why I've used Bob Myers.
So who's the names out there in this case? Bob Myers, James Jones.
Yeah.
Who's another one's going to be in the mix in this case here? The corpse of Colangelo because it seems to come back anyhow. Maybe he's out of jail by then.
Sure.
Who else? Who
I
else?
think James Jones would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, James
Okay.
Jones.
So, but either way, like if you don't want Bob Myers, that's fine. But my point still stands. I think that you're giving way too much credit to the fact that maybe this job, you even admitted the way that they set it up is kind of bogus. So why the heck am I doing that and not waiting for an expansion?
I agree. No, with those caveats, I agree the expansion is a better offer. I'm just saying if everything was equal and you're actually doing a fair assessment of saying who might be the best person for the job without any caveats, then I think the Toronto job's a very good job.
I agree.
But if you're going to come and say, well, it's like, well, you got to keep X, Y, and Z, and we got to do this, that, next. Like, if you're doing that type of crap, no one wants that job anywhere. That's the reason why Chicago in this case is always a job people are like, I'll pass on that. I got to deal with the Reinsdorfs. But no, thank you. Right? That's the reason why Chicago's in that state.
Yeah. Well, I'm being pro expansion. Not that I would choose it, but I guess with expansion you have more options. Like when the teams put out, they have their keepers of 7 or 8 guys, and then they have some guys that they put out who are either making a ton of money, right, or they have some decent halfway guys that you can be able to choose from. There will be some flexibility in terms of, well, this is how much money I'm willing to work with, like in terms of cap. You don't have to worry about, if you don't want to go over the cap, you don't have to with expansion.
Well, I think also to the expansion, let's also consider it this way. You're not going to get, in this case here, someone we're putting out the flyers for a job. That guy's already picked.
It's also a lot of job security. If I were coming to the Raptors, I'd be putting potentially a bogus year on my resume to start.
No, I mean,
yes, unless you think that they're going to be good this year.
no,
You're coming on. Why?
Yeah, because I want to do it my way. So I'm going to take the hit up front because this is the year I'm cleaning up the books.
Yeah. Why would I do that? Let someone else take the hit. Then hire me.
No.
This is some backroom dealing, man. I'm Bob Myers. You want me? Let Mr. Bobby. You take the hit, and then come talk, and then I might consider.
I think you could do it both ways because we saw it with Masai. He had Bargnani, and before even a game got picked up, he said, "It's been fun, boys. Out you go."
Yeah, but that was so obvious at that point.
No, but no, you can't change that. There, that's the fact. He was the franchise dude.
Yeah.
As crazy as it is to say out of my mouth, that was the fact. He was the franchise dude that everyone's pissed off about and say, you know what? He's not my guy. It's been fun. First thing out the door. That literally might have been his first move. It was like, I remember.
And I believe in Masai.
My sister's birthday, so it was like June 30th to July 1st around there. Yeah. And I was like, holy smokes. I think it must have been July 1st.
But I think my point is that the overall franchise, because we didn't have the equivalent of who is the equivalent of a Quickly contract and other things, right?
Fair enough, but I think you could make I don't know, if I'm GM for a
we're in a new cap world, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to stay in a certain zone, and that's what is making it tough.
Yeah, but in this, you take the Portland situation for example.
That's a better situation. I take that over.
No, but what I'm saying is when Homeboy became the new GM or whatever this case, we talked about on this very show about how he's dealing with Lillard, and how it didn't go down well. But he decided to say, "Hey, I'm running the show now, and I'm going to lock you out." Fair enough. I guess
what I'm trying to say is that you can get something for Damian Lillard. I don't know what you're getting for these players.
I think you can find something in this case here.
I think you can get something. I think the question is how they're going about it. See, my whole thing is we saw what they did with Siakam, and the value went so low where you got back peanuts for Siakam. That is my fear with RJ now, is that you're going to get back peanuts because of them saying, you know what, we're talking to his reps, and we're saying, yeah, we're open to trading him. Even if you are, I get that. I just don't like how you're leaking it out there.
If they're willing to take the one step backwards to get 2 steps forward type of trade, which a lot of teams do to kind of get out of stuff.
That's I guess what I'm trying to say is like
Right.
an RJ move would necessitate probably that.
But
I don't think it might be seen as peanuts. I don't think you're going to be getting quote unquote max value for a guy
no,
who's a
no, no
runaway
one. I'm
player
not suggesting it.
who can't hit past. He hits worse than Pirtle from the free throw line.
I'm not suggesting you would in this case here. What I'm saying is that if you have the dude that you think you have, then you don't worry about that. You have a plan and you're executing your plan.
We don't have to do it, apparently.
No, we don't. That's proving my point. We don't have that dude, I don't think. Because that's the move he's gonna have to take to swallow that medicine. But I don't think we have that dude because the Raptors, at least under Masai, and we'll find out under Bobby, was we take players that can play for us. We don't right? That if he comes and makes a deal for RJ and he takes back a dude that's injured for the next year and he's off the books at the end of the year, but okay, you're thinking like a guy in this case that knows the cap. All right then.
Right. That's where I go with like the Anthony Simons notion.
Right.
Just because it's like, okay, then you just get off the money by the end of the year, and then at least you have the cap space, you have more flexibility. Maybe it's one of these guys that are taking the qualifying offer or whatever. You figure it out from there.
And this is the reason why he should never been hired as the GM. This is the reason why. Because as far as I'm concerned, we don't know what the philosophy is for him as far as if it's going to be any different than Masai's.
Yeah. I think the thing is that it's hard, especially when he hasn't even spoken yet since getting the job. It's hard to know the vision, and it's hard to be sold, and it's hard to get excited for someone where it's like the main thing that you could sell is that, well, maybe he truly wasn't, he was in disagreement with his bad boss.
Yeah.
Like these things may be true, but it still isn't a sexy thing to be like, oh, so he's the guy.
Right, yeah. It's like, that's the dude. Oh, yay. Fantastic.
He wanted to keep Siakam, allegedly wanted to keep Siakam. He wanted to re-sign him, and then when you get down the road, trade him, right?
Which is fine.
This is my point with RJ. Make a decision. Because the Valley now is just tanking with all this Jake Fisher stuff. And keep him or trade him. I just feel bad for RJ, how this front office and PR people have treated him. And I don't like that. I've never really understood it.
No, it's bullshit.
It's very this team promoting RJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm curious to see if that quote culture changes, and we're gonna find out, was it all Masai's fault, or we're gonna find out it's like, no, there's a lot more, there are much more chefs in this kitchen that doing this nonsense than just
So how long do you think that would take to like make that decision? Whether
for what?
A decision on RJ, I guess.
Their decision is they know, but I guess it depends on when.
I guess it ain't dependent on just you.
Trade deadline, you
the deadline shouldn't it be the trade moratorium?
Well, wherever the sooner the better. But like if you put it out there, it should be getting done sooner than later. But now you put your own pressure on yourself to get this done now.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing from RJ's perspective too. Now, let's just say he plays out this entire year with the Raptors. Do you want him to go into next season knowing that this team does not want you?
No, but he might have more value he might have more value as an expiring. If he's seen so bad now, then he might. But you can't go into the season with it.
That's risky. I just saw this with Siakam, and Siakam had no value.
Yeah, no, it's this. Okay, here's the thing. It's almost, you know what? I'll compare it to someone else. It's like Bruce Brown, but you kind of have to know ahead of the time what you're gonna do. You can't like. It's a real tough road because here's the thing. There's other people that you have decisions to make that are going to come at around the same time as an RJ extension. So that would be guys like Grady. Guess depending on if they keep Ochai or not Ochai. You're going to have to know what you have in some other guys as well. So it's kind of like, in some ways, at bare minimum, it's like Grady versus RJ, who gets the money. And who's going to cost more?
Well, we know who I think will get the money. If there was a choice between the two.
For sure. I mean, based on the fact that they keep the for sale sign out, I think we all know. but at the same time, it's like, I agree with you all. then make the move. I wouldn't wait till then. Just
let me ask you guys,
move it.
Is the trade about RJ, is it more cap or more fit?
It's cap.
It's both.
That's fair. Because the thing is, it's like, in terms of the cap, you're over. Like, you're over the line. Moving Ochai helps you. It gets you under it. But that's only kicking the can down the road. Because everyone's going to get a raise the very next year. So you're right in the same situation anyways.
Do you guys know where we are in payroll this year in the league?
We're like 9th or something like that in payroll. 8th? Okay, well, maybe we'll get the 8th pick this year.
Highest payroll.
Just like our evaluation for our team is what the 8th most valuable franchise in this league.
Absolutely. But, and I hear what you're saying, Coach. But that's why I'm saying, like, moving RJ provides you with a lot, depending on what you move him for, could provide you with more financial flexibility down the road.
Oh, I see that point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just how they've gone about this is the same thing that they did with Siakam. I'm not comparing him to Siakam. Obviously, Siakam's a better player. But we've been down this road with, because I do consider RJ a core player. He's just not level of Siakam. And here we are again, putting this guy out in trade rumors and just diminishing the value. And then you're going into a season when he knows himself they're trying to trade you. And now how is that going to impact his game?
I don't know if I see him as a core player. I guess that's the big difference.
I'm just saying they've labeled him at least as a core player, but yeah.
Have they though? Because if they labeled him as a core player, they would have promoted him.
This is fascinating because to me this is a little microcosm of what the fandom's like. And what I mean by that is, if you had to go and talk to hardcore Raptor fans, I think they're more like Kenyon. If you had to speak for the man, the Joe Blow on the street, that if you walk on Yonge Street, they see it like Coach. I honestly, in this city, I see way more number 9 jerseys than I see of any other jersey of the current roster. More than anything.
I'll put it this way. I think from a financial value and marketing, he has more value in this market than anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
100%. He said, I would actually make the argument he's getting the best contract on the team right now.
I don't know if I'm doing all that.
Rookie deals and stuff like that.
So I'm not talking so much the rookie deals, but I'm saying the second contract deals. I think for what he's putting
in terms of who's getting paid, I mean, yeah, he's getting paid the least.
Yeah, that's the only one that the Raptors didn't sign.
But that's the only one that
the Raptors didn't make. How ironic.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think if he was on the open market, I don't think he'd get that money though. Right now, that's the thing. Like, I think he'd be more closer to like a Karis LeVert level deal. Because the truth is that like if you can't play the defense, that's what these guys are getting paid.
If RJ went to the open market right now, would he get $25 million?
No.
I know he probably wants 30.
Kaminga's not even getting that.
Quickly's getting 32.
That's because we're idiots.
Yeah, but hey, the cap specialist, I wonder whatever happened to that guy in this case when CBA was coming along. I wonder what happened to that dude.
Yeah. Well, hey, to be fair, that was an old CPA. You got to get a new guy.
Wait. That dude was supposed to know about the new and the old one.
No, because he was in the league office during the writing of the last one.
He's the capologist.
It's like ChatGPT. You gotta upgrade the
thing,
man.
You gotta wait for it to be pink. You can't see it. Say, okay, what's
it's like Windows. You gotta update it. You gotta keep it updated. If you don't update it, eventually the machine starts slowing down. You don't know what to do. It's a little slow. Then now you need a new phone. Now we need a new front office, right? It's just the same thing.
I think if RJ right now went to open market as a 25-year-old who's somewhat gotten better offensively, I think he's getting somewhere between 25 and 30.
I don't think so, Coach. I'm sorry.
Quickly getting 32?
I know you're using the Quickly as a thing, but like since the Quickly deal, let's ignore our front office. Has anyone else gotten that type of thing with being a one-way player?
Yeah, Ingram got 40. Yeah, Ingram got 40.
Again, by the same franchise.
Better than RJ?
By the same franchise, but like by any other. That's what I'm saying. In the open market, we're not talking about like Yes, there's always a Stauskas, right? But like but like beyond Vivek, and Stauskas and all that kind of thing from an open market, not from our team. Who is giving RJ that money?
Oh,
Oh, Chicago might, or Sacramento.
Chicago could give him that money, but I think this is the problem. This goes back. He's got waiting in line behind Kaminga, right? Because
This is my point. This is my point. Behind Kaminga, behind some people would probably argue that Cam Thomas, from an offensive standpoint, is a better player than RJ, just purely offensively.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that, but Cam's better defensively. What's Cam making?
Well, Cam Thomas.
Oh, Cam Thomas. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant Cam Johnson.
No. Cam Johnson is not. He's not making 25. I think he's making. I'll tell you in a second.
He's making one of those descaling contracts too. I think
That too. So it's like his annual average value of 22. So even that's below the 25 threshold, and is going down and down. Next season 20 million. I'm not saying that he wouldn't get no money at all, but it's just like So I think the question is like would Cam Thomas, who I didn't know that he was born in Japan, but would he make more money than RJ, or is he perceived as a better player? And to me, I believe he's younger. He's age 23. Okay, shoots 35%, 34.9. I don't know what he finishes around the league, but I'll tell you he's an 88% free throw shooter.
Here's one I would say that works in coach's favor. RJ has the cachet of being a top 5 pick.
I know you're always going to go back to that, and that
top 10 pick type of stuff. It matters with these guys, man.
Yeah,
that's the reason why after a day like this, Siakam still had to fight to get his money.
So what about Kuminga then?
Kuminga's a top 10 pick.
Kuminga hasn't proven much though. At the same time,
Kuminga's been on a championship team and being a key player in that championship team.
That's what I was going to say.
Individually, he hasn't as much though.
Well, I mean, he and Kerr have been back and forth, and then Kerr breaks the glass out in case of emergency all the time.
He hasn't got the opportunity.
Yeah,
but he still hasn't.
If I'm Kuminga's agent, that's the argument I'm making. I'm like, okay, he's younger in this case here. He's got explosive offensive game. We've seen how he can play in playoff series when it matters most. And it's like, okay, extrapolate that and let him play as a guy who could be a first or second option on a team. I think they'll make that argument for him. I think it's a legitimate argument for him. I think the potential what he can be versus say what RJ can be. I think that I think RJ is hit his ceiling. With Kuminga, I don't think that's the case.
Because especially with the age argument, it's like these guys are like literally 2 years younger and have been in the league less time. RJ is now going to be coming up on his. It's not a rookie scale deal that he's coming up on. It's going to be his I guess his third contract technically.
This will be RJ's biggest contract that he'll get coming up. I think. I mean, just in terms of his age and where he's at. He's 25.
Yeah,
he'll be 27. I think by the time the contract ends, roughly, or 26, and that will be his big money contract for his career.
There's a couple of teams I can see taking him though. I'm not saying he's going to have some suitors. I think there's a couple of teams I can think of off the top of my head that I think
it's hard to project 2 years out, right? But like right now, it's tough because again, he's more of a guard, and even at the guard, there's a lot of guards in the league.
There is a lot of guards, but I think there's some scenarios where I could see they would want him. In a couple of years, I can see.
You can't say Washington anymore.
No, but I can see New Orleans.
They're the one team that you keep circling back around where it's like maybe that Jordan Poole contract.
They didn't want him. Apparently, he was offered up for Ingram. They didn't want him.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying. Like, no one wanted to pay the money. They didn't want. They too didn't want to pay Ingram money either.
Yeah, they wanted to get off the money and get the pick.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this RJ.
He's been disrespected. Don't get me wrong about that.
Yeah, no, he's dealt with a lot in New York, and that was in itself. And then coming here, where he actually I thought got better, and I don't think he's plateaued. I think he's gone up, but I'm kind of wondering this year, does the plateau now happen this year for him?
Well, okay, when I say plateau is like I'm saying from the standpoint is I think you see as much you're going to see with RJ. Like you know what you're going to get. And that's good and bad. I'm not saying in this case like okay, it's like he's a lousy player or anything. I'm thinking that what you see is what you get from RJ. And I don't think there's a place where it's like, when RJ comes this year, I'm going to see something different where it's like, oh, wow, he got something new in his bag. I think that phase of his game is over with. And, he's maximizing what he's really good at, his strengths, his driving. I think a little bit of his playmaking is coming back, which he did do a lot at Duke as well, too, when Zion got hurt. So
a little bit for Team Canada as well.
Yeah, as well, too. So you see a little bit of that, too. So, like, those things he had in his bag, he got opportunity to use it last year a lot more. Who knows? I think he might get a lot of opportunity to do it this year, actually, based on who's on his team now. So, where he might end up being more of a facilitator than we think. Yeah. But, like, I'm not sure, like, you're going to tell me now all of a sudden he's going to have, like, some type of crazy post game all of a sudden? No, I don't see that coming.
No. I think, number one, I'm just saying this for anybody, not just him. 21.5 doesn't grow on trees. It's pretty good on 40%.
The trail's pretty well. I love it.
RJ or anybody. If you told me he went into this season and he shot 75% from the free throw line, finally, I'd be like, thank you, because there's no reason. You shoot 35% from three. Why are you only shooting 63% from the free throw line? That's pitiful. Pirtle, like Kenyon said earlier, Pirtle shot better.
He did?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, okay, so RJ's only, and that was only on the Knicks before he got traded, he's only ever shot above 80% once, and that wasn't even for a full season. So he's actually never shot 75%. So I think for RJ, now, this is where RJ becomes, a really solid player where, I would change my perspective a little bit. But even then, I wouldn't overpay for it. And I still lean towards trading him. However, and this is where you get by waiting and seeing, that this is how you get into the situation of what we got to before, where you're kind of waiting and waiting to make a decision, is if he can shoot 75%, if he can finish around the hoop and it's not bottom 5 in the league.
Yeah, that was bad this year.
Right? Like, these are the things, if you do those two combined and he's not any better defensively, he's a significantly better player by doing that.
Does Ingram potentially make that better for him? Like Ingram's gravity that he tracks? No, I mean at the rim, because maybe does it open up more if you have more shooters around?
No, because Ingram's Ingram is good at catch and shoot, but Ingram can't be catch and shoot because Ingram has to be on ball way more. That's the problem. We should have traded for Zion.
When RJ first got here, with Siakam, the numbers were better at the rim, right? And I'm kind of wondering, even though Ingram and Siakam's game's a little different, but Ingram will still generate similar gravity maybe to Siakam in that sense.
You want to know what the difference is, though? Where did Siakam usually get the ball outside of when he wasn't being used as Pascal Thompson?
When he was Klay Thompson.
Yeah. So outside of the corner, when it was breaking case of emergency, where did he get the ball? It was inside.
Yeah, mid-elbow. But Ingram kind of sometimes get the ball mid-elbow, too, in the Pelicans. But
he does, but he's going to be handling the ball on the perimeter way more. And that's the difference.
I'm not disagreeing.
Also, where are you going to put CMB now?
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Yeah.
But the way that Darko's offense is, that 1-5 is beyond his head. It's hard to even say if he'll have the ball as much.
Are you saying that you feel bad for Darko?
No, I agree, Coach.
I'm saying you go beyond. I
know. I made this point. You're making it now. Like Darko's a zealot. Darko's going to run 1-5 offense with Pirtle and quickly. Don't matter who's out there. It could be the ghost of Michael Jordan. He's running 1-5 pick and roll. He's just not. He's not budging from it. Like he's just not.
Yeah, and he sees. And remember what I said. He views the game unconventionally, yet he views positions conventionally.
Conventionally, exactly right.
Which is just such a mismatch.
Paradox. Yeah.
So it's like if you shifted people around, there's a way to make it work. But
Right.
he ain't the dude
Right.
to figure that out with enough time.
You
If it
mentioned
was
that.
if it was Rick Carlisle, he might it might take him a serious loss or two, but he might eventually figure it out.
Yeah, like you talked about Brandon Ingram being a pick and roll player and stuff. I chuckled. It's like, what team are we talking about? Not this team. We don't run no pick and rolls with any wings. Come on now.
Well, Masai was on the phone and said, "Boy, we can't wait to see Quickly and Scotty run pick and roll." We
Still
see
waiting
that?
for
We see that in 2 years?
it. Still waiting for it. Still
Yeah,
waiting for it. So I think what I'll just say this last point here. I'm not sure if we're wrapping up or not, but
probably.
yeah, I'll say this. There's one other element that might force this situation to be a little quicker than anticipated, and that depends on
An
the
injury?
outside. No, no,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. Injury,
Okay.
injury is a possibility, but it could work the other. It could work the other way. Injury is a possibility, but the other thing is if one of the two kids pop,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, we got to move this guy because all of a sudden, be it Gray's taking off or Walter's taking off, all of a sudden it's like, oh, we need to find more time for this dude. That's the scenario that's going to force. We're going to find out what gumption, in this case, Mr. Webster has at that point.
Agreed. And I
Sure.
think you ultimately want that too. Like you want that competition. If I'm Grady this year, knowing that I'm going to the bench to start the year, assuming the team looks like this, I might have a little fire under my butt right now. I mean, every good player would.
He should. I mean, he was talking the other day about getting a wine at Carabana. If that didn't fire him up, you know.
Well, I mean, the best Grady saw early last year with him and RJ.
Yeah,
That was fun I had watching this team.
it was. It was a lot of fun.
The offense looked good. This is when Scotty was hurt, but the team, there was just something about the offense that looked really good. So hopefully Grady brings that again because Grady's probably going to be playing a lot more with some bench players than maybe he's used to, but that's more opportunities for him until someone's traded.
I mean, who would have thought that we would have had such a lively RJ discussion?
I thought we would. I know how I feel kind of, but I know how you two kind of feel about it. I think
Yeah.
what some people might think that I'm the big RJ defender. I get it when things make sense. I understand from a cap perspective or a fit perspective, he probably might have to go. The one thing that irritates me is just how the team has treated him
Yeah.
since he got here. It's that is what has bothered me. It's not so much the game. The game is the game. I get it. He's got some strengths. He's got some weaknesses, just like Scotty, just like them all. But just how he's been treated by the team in the organization, that's what kind of has bothered me.
Yeah, I outright agree with you on that front. I'm not saying that they have to tell, hey, this is the number we're going to give you, and blah blah blah. Are you in or are you out, kind of thing. I'm not even saying that they have to necessarily give them an extension, but if in their mind they're not going to do it and they're not going to keep them, then it's time to make adjustments and make moves.
One last question for you guys. If we don't make the Ingram deal, are we still talking about trading him?
I mean, I probably still would.
I would consider it, but you had more options at that point.
Yeah. It wouldn't be a this season or bust type of thing.
Yeah.
Because you'd have more room to grow. To be honest, if that was the case, we'd be talking about AJ DeBanson, my friend.
Well, here's my point. Saying last year, this would be a rebuild. We'd be still in. Oh,
But people want to still say that it is a rebuild this year.
No, I thought we were a top 16. Come on now.
Yeah. No,
Hey,
top four. Top four. Remember, we're top four.
we better than the Pistons, who took the Knicks to the brink almost. But
We're better than the Knicks, man.
We're better than Orlando. We're better than Atlanta. We're better than Miami.
Gonna have multiple 20-point scores. And so, on that note, we should probably end things.
We might have multiple 20-point scores.
We might.
RJ.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. You might. Yeah. Shout out Pirtle. Hey man, you laugh all you want, man. This team is going to go as far as Pirtle will take us.
Hey, I've said he's got the keys to the city ever since that first preseason game 2 years ago I watched when they played Sacramento. I said, my God, Pirtle's got the ball a lot today. And I didn't realize that would be the theme kind of moving forward. But
Man,
okay.
man, Pirtle's living life, man. Life is great for NBA players. Good for him. Any parting words, Coach? Beyond says no. Coach says nah.
No, I get it off my chest. Thank you.
Okay. Coach, you'd make a good coach.
Those days are done for now.
Yes.
Maybe in 10 to 12, 14 years.
Yes, we will see. I know that coaching is it takes a particular type of mental focus that might subjugate every other aspect of your life. So,
yeah, I mean, maybe
I prefer a sane coach.
Well, maybe I'll coach. When you're 10, you're like grade 3 or grade 4. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll coach grade 3 or 14.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's that on Basketball Rewind. Everyone like, comment, and subscribe. We are at 440. So we are continuing to grow through the pains of people staying up and watching AmeriCup. Stick with me, folks. Stick with us into the season. And don't worry, we'll be positive, negative, and talking about other teams, prospects. Stay locked in on Basketball Rewind. And, of course, with the W going into its final stretch of its season, we'll definitely be covering that too. So, yeah, take care, people, and peace.